Hello and welcome back to the Canaries Chat channel. This is a match preview for Norwich versus Wrexham. It's been a little while. I haven't done a video since the Coventry reaction video. And yeah, that went down interestingly with Coventry fans, and still getting a few comments on socials about that one, about the gamesmanship. But this week it is Norwich versus Wrexham. Norwich at home. Form-wise, we're doing marginally better than Wrexham. Won 2, lost 2 and drawn 1 in the first 5. And Wrexham have lost 3, drawn 1 and won 1. So we are the slightly more informed team going into this, and obviously we've got the home advantage, although actually at home those are the 2 games that we've lost. So home advantage maybe isn't a thing right now for us. It obviously was for a very long time. We had that period where we went a full year without being beaten at home. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked for Liam Manning like that so far. We've struggled a bit from home, struggled to really stamp our identity on the game and get things moving in the right direction. Wrexham did kind of a little bit similar to us, have invested quite heavily in the squad this summer. Lots of Broadhead coming in, big wages such as Cody. You obviously had Doyle come in, Kiefer Moore's come in, Lewis O'Brien, I think, Sheaf as well from Coventry. There's been a lot of incomings at that club. They haven't yet started to gel. Potentially, this may be the game week that does happen. Knowing our luck, it will be this game week. Just quickly, about 70% of the people watching this video are not subscribed. We've set a very audacious target of hitting 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're enjoying the Norwich City content and you want to come along on that journey, click the subscribe button down below. And if you want to become a member, click the link in the description and that'll take you over to the members page. But fundamentally, defensively, they've looked very weak. I think you only need to see the QPR game and the goals they've conceded. I'd like to think the players in our team can inflict as much damage as QPR players did in those situations. We've got a very talented front line, and the likes of Cody was just looking a bit kind of showing his age a little bit. Doyle looked a bit exposed as well, so I'd be really interested to see how certain matchups across the pitch will go. They do seem to play a kind of supposedly 3 or 5 at the back, which obviously we have done in the past. Whether we do that at home, I'm not sure. Obviously, our last 2 results have been kind of a draw and a win, and that's been with 4 at the back. So I imagine at home he's going to hopefully continue that to give the crowd a bit of a G-up and a bit of kind of motivation, because I think home crowd have definitely been feeling it a little bit last couple of games. And yeah, something potentially needs to change, and a really good showing at home could be the thing that turns the table a little bit there. They have supposedly, Wrexham, created the most big chances in the league, but also missed the most big chances in the league, which isn't too much of a surprise. That they have, as I said, invested quite well, but you still got championship players. You've not necessarily got someone amazing attacking wise coming down from the Premier League that is looking to make a statement or looking to prove a point. So unfortunately they've kind of lacked that killer edge, and I think they'll be now quite conscious that I think Wrexham and Birmingham have had this kind of up and down relationship of who's going to do better in the Championship, and obviously that was there in League One as well. Birmingham are obviously getting the better of them at the moment. I don't think Wrexham fans are too fussed, but they would probably still like to be in and around where Birmingham finish, and another loss at the weekend will certainly not help their cause. But yeah, Wrexham are a really interesting case of, is it a case of give them time? They've brought in a lot of players, very similar to Norwich again, or is it a case of actually you've brought in too many players? It's disrupted the kind of status quo of things, and you can't then start gelling them back together once you've ripped it apart. It is just 5 games. There have been, again, like some positives. The fact they are creating that many chances, they just need to be finishing them, is a positive that they can look at, not just as a negative you're missing, but I'd be more worried if you're not creating those chances and you're still performing the way that you are currently performing. So In regards to myself, the lineup for Norwich, there is a lot of injury news that can affect that. Fitzgordon's out for 6 weeks, doesn't need surgery. I thought it was the best game that he had had for us against Coventry, and unfortunately now out for 6 weeks. Very typical of us. As soon as we get someone kind of firing a bit on all cylinders, they end up getting injured. So Crescene, again, I thought probably had his best game of the season, or one of the best games of the season for him, and he's now injured 8 weeks. Again, doesn't need surgery, but what I would say is that they are in two positions that we're potentially slightly struggling in. Left back, Schlupp is still injured as well, Mahovo's still out, and then we've got Crescene, so that's our three left backs gone. And then our attacking midfielders, Marcondes is now back within the picture, and away from that, we don't really have. Cernat was playing as a number 10. McCammah can potentially play there as well, but we don't have an out-and-out number 10 now, which is also a potential issue. But I was really enjoying the Fitzgora and Sargent link-up, and I was really hoping that was going to be kind of that kick-on. And unfortunately, I don't think Schwartau is kind of too highly thought of at this point in time with Liam Manning to stamp that number 10 position down. So, as I mentioned, Schlupp's out, Duffy's out, Marcondes is back, and Cordoba is available. So, I think he'll go Cordoba left back. It's going to be him or McLean, really, I think. Or they could go Fisher left back, Stacey right back. That is what we did towards the end of the Coventry game. And actually, Fisher looked more accomplished on the left-hand side than he did on the right-hand side in that game. So there is a potential that he does that. Big risk, but there's also a risk of bringing someone back into the team that's not necessarily fully fit at this point in time. It's a really tough one to really call. In regards to the lineup, I'm going with Vlad in goal. Stacey right back, Darling, Medic. I think Fisher gets the nod at left back. I was contemplating him or Cordoba. I don't think it would be Kenny, although he can play there. I think Manning will see him as that defensive midfielder with Topic in the middle. So I'm going to go Fisher, and then McLean, Topic in the middle, Cernat on the right, Diallo on the left. I've gone McCammah in the middle, whether he can support Sarge a bit more. I've been really, really impressed with his cameos and the way that he holds the ball up. He's very good with his feet as well, but like he's a very physical presence. And there was only really kind of one thing that I think he maybe could have squared the ball a bit better in the Coventry game or something along those lines. But I think he looks a real talent, and I'm hoping we can kind of nurture him through that. Heaven forbid anything happens with Sarge where he does a bad injury, that McCammah can try and step into those shoes. So I've gone with McCammah in the 10, and I think that may be the most contentious one. We've got Jurasek, who could play on the right, push Cernat into the middle, but again, he didn't even come off the bench against Coventry. Again, I appreciate it's maybe not his game, trying to be physical, slow the game down, but McCammah does seem to be getting the nod a little bit more ahead of him. We've got, as I said, Schwartau. Marcondes may come back into the team. Again, I'm not sure if we're going to bring someone who's just been out straight back into the team against Wrexham, or we'll just introduce them slowly through substitution minutes. So, yeah, for me, McCammah. I hope it happens. Even if we play two up top, nearly a flat 4-4-2, I wouldn't be against that at all. I really think McCammah can add to Josh Sargent's game and be a nuisance to drag players in to create that space for Sargent. So, yeah, fingers crossed for that anyway. I've gone with 2-1 Norwich win. I think there's going to be points to be proven after the Coventry game. Coventry fans were not a fan of our gamesmanship. But also, I think there was a lot of Norwich City fans that were thinking, actually, we can't play every game like this. And that is correct. I agree with that. I personally think it did work in that situation. And that if we played like that every single time, I'd be a bit disappointed, but we would get results against the tougher opposition. I think we need a statement win here against Wrexham. We need a few goals. I think scraping a 1-0 would still be obviously good points wise, but I don't think that'll necessarily take the angst away from certain fans that are wanting to see that free flowing football and kind of through the transitions. Norwich fans, rightly or wrongly, have an expectation of playing nice free flowing attacking football, and if home fans don't start seeing that, they're quite fickle to get straight onto the back of managers, I think, sometimes. And I do think Manning rightly needs more time. I do think criticism of if we played every single game like we did against Coventry, that would be fair criticism. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on it. I just think we execute the game plan quite well against Coventry. If it happens again against Wrexham, that's when question marks, I think, may be getting asked. But leave your predictions down below in the comments. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.